So in this video, we are going to solve a couple of questions on exam review 3. We're going to solve question 1 down to question 10. But the video may be too long. I may have to do another video for the second section. So we're going to start with question 1 here. Question 1 says that use the x and the y intercept to graph the equation 4x minus 8y equals to 24. So we have the equation 4x minus 8y equals to 24. That's the equation that we have. This is a linear equation. Now, a linear equation in the standard form. The standard form is ax plus by equals to c. Now, to plot a line, you need 2 points. The first point is the x-intercept, and the second point is the y-intercept. So we are going to find intercept right now. On the x-intercept, we know that the value of y is 0. And on the y-intercept, the value of x is 0. So for each case, for the x-intercept, we can plug the value of y to be 0 and see what we get. We have the equation 4x minus 8y equals to 24. So if we plug in the value of y to be 0, we get 4x minus 8 into 0 equals to 24. This will give us 4x minus 0 equals to 24, and 4x equals to 24. Here, we divide both sides by 4. If we divide both sides by 4, we are going to have 4x divided by 4 is equals to 24 divided by 4. Now, this will give us x will be equals to 24 divided by 4 is 6. So for the x coordinate, we have the point 6 and, for the x-intercept, we have the point 6 and 0. This is our x-intercept. Now, for the y-intercept, we say at y-intercept, the coordinate for x is 0. So we can put that in the equation of the line 4x minus 8y equals to 24. So if x equals to 0, we'll get this. So we'll have 0 minus 8y equals to 24. So from this point, we can divide both sides by negative 8. We'll have negative 8y divided by negative 8 is equals to negative 24 divided by negative 8. And this will cancel with this. We'll be left with y equals to 24 divided by negative 8 will give you negative 3. This will give you the y-intercept at 0 and negative 3. Now, we have found our intercepts, the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Now, we can plot these 2 points on the graph and link the 2 points with the line to get the plot or the graph for the line 4x minus 8y equals to 24. Let's do that. Let's start by plotting or finding the point 6, 0. Now, let's try to use this graph and annotate it first. We have here our y-axis, our x-axis. We will take 1 square to be 1 unit. So we'll have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is negative, the negative axis of y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative. all this negative. Now, we want to plot the point. We said 0 and 6. No, 6 and 0. Then we'll plot 0 and negative 3. Now, 6 on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis will give us this point here. And 0 on the x-axis and negative 3 on the y-axis will give us this point here. So all we have to do is to draw a line that links these 2 points. So I'll adjust this line. Perfect. So now this line is the line for the equation that was given to us, 4x minus 8y equals to 24. This is how you plot a straight line. This is how you plot a straight line. The first thing will be to find your intercept. Find your intercept first. Find the x-intercept, find the y-intercept. On the x-intercept, you plug in the value of y to be 0, and you solve for the value of x. In this case, we solved and we had 6. So our point was 6 for the x coordinate and 0 that we already had for the y coordinate. And you do the same thing for the y-intercept. You have for the y-intercept x equals to 0. So you will have plug in x to be 0 in the equation, and you will have 0 and negative 3. Now, once you have these 2 points, you can go on your graph and you plot the graph by locating the 2 points, 0 and negatives and 6. No, 6 and zeros for the first, and 0 and negative 3. That's what we did. And we drew a line to link the 2 points. And you've solved it because they ask you to draw the line. That's all. Now, we're going to move to the next question. You can see here, this is what we had here. It's similar to this. The next question said that we should graph the equation y equals to negative 4. Now, this is very easy. All you have to do is you draw a horizontal line at the coordinate negative 4. So you see here that if we count here, 1, 2, 3, this is 4. This is negative 4. So we'll draw a horizontal line at negative 4, and that is the equation for y equals to negative 4. Now, if it was x equals to negative 4, we'll go on the x-axis, we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be negative 4. I will draw a vertical line, not a horizontal this time, a vertical line, and that will be our answer. Now, the next question is graph the equation y equals to half x plus 5. Now, the format of this question is the same as the question we just solved for question 1. I'll do it once more so that you understand better. I'll do it once more. So let's get rid of what we did here. Okay. Now the question is the equation of the line is y equals to half x plus 5. Remember our steps. We said to plot a straight line on a Cartesian plane. The first thing will be to find 2 coordinates, 2 points on the plane that you can link. So the 2 points that we choose to find here are the intercept. So let's find the x-intercept. At the x-intercept, y equals to 0. So if we plug y to be 0 in that equation, we're going to get in the equation y equals to half x plus 5. We have 0 is equals to half x plus 5. Now, at this point, you notice that we have a fraction. To get rid of this fraction, we can multiply every term in the equation by 2. It doesn't change anything if you multiply every term in the equation by 2. If we do that, we'll have 0 times 2 is 0 is equals to half times 2 will give you 1. So you have half x times 2. This 2 will cancel with this 1 plus 10, which is 5 times 2. So you will get 0 is equals to x plus 10. So x will give you minus 10. X will give you minus 10. Now, for the y-intercept, so you have the point here for the x-intercept, negative 10 and 0. This is our x-intercept. For the y-intercept, at the y-intercept, x equals to 0. So plug 0 in the equation y equals to half x plus 5. If we put x to be 0, we'll have y equals to half times 0 plus 5. We know that anything times 0 is 0. So we get y equals to 0 plus 5. So y is just 5. This gives our y-intercept to be 0 and 5. Now we can plot or find the 2 points on the plane, on the Cartesian plane, and we'll link the 2 points. Now you notice that I have an x coordinate here of negative 10. So I will have to come and extend this to get to 10. So I had here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All these are negative coordinates. Now, so if I'm to plot the point negative 10 and 0, let me change this color. My point will be here. Will be here. This is my point. Negative 10 on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. That's my point. Now, if I had to plot the point 0, if I plot the point 0 and 5, 0 on the x and 5 on the y, they will be here. So now, if I link the 2 points, I'll link it like this. Use a ruler. Try to make them as accurate as possible. You'll link it like this. And this now is the equation for y equals to half x plus 5. And we have plotted the graph of half x plus 5. Remember, the step is find the x-intercept, find the y-intercept. Once you get the both intercept, you plot the points of the x-intercept and plot the point of the y-intercept. Then you use a ruler to link the 2 points and you get the graph of the straight line. Okay, if that is understood, we can move to the next question. This was question 3. Now let's move to question, I think last class we already did question 4, finding the slope. We also did question 5, it's the same question. Now question 6. Question 6. We're going to do question 6 and 7 right now. Now, question 6 says that find the equation of the line with an undefined slope passing through the point. Now, passing through the point 2, 7. So the equation that I'm talking about here doesn't have a slope. It doesn't have a slope. okay? And they tell you that it passes through the point 2, 7. Now, if a line doesn't have a slope, then that line can either be horizontal or vertical. All right? That means that that line will either pass through the coordinate x equals to 2, or it can pass through the point y equals to 7. That's it. It's as easy as that. That's why you saw in this question they gave you a response as x equals to 2. X equals to 2 is a line that passes through the coordinate 2, and it has no no slope. The slope is 0. Now for question 7 says find the equation of the line with the slope 2 and passing through a point 4, 3. So they gave us a point that they passed through. That point is 4, 3. It was a point 4, 3, and they gave us a slope which is 2. Remember that the general mathematical way of writing the equation of a straight line is y equals to mx plus b. In this equation, m here is your slope, b here is the y-intercept. M is your slope, so we already know m, which is 2. What we don't know is the y-intercept, but we know that we can find it. We can find it. How do we find the y-intercept? We will find the y-intercept by putting the point that has been given to us and the slope into the equation of a straight line. So we know that the equation is y equals to mx plus b. Now, if we put the slope, we're going to have y equals to 2x plus b. Now, we'll use the point that's been given to us. In the point, we have an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So wherever we see x in the equation for the line, we'll put 4. And whenever we see y in the equation for the line, we'll put 3. So when we have y, we put 3. And when we have x, we put 4. This is to enable us to find b, which is the y-intercept. So we're going to have 3 is equals to 8 plus b, and 3 minus 8 equals to b. Therefore, b will be equals to minus 5. Now, remember, to write any equation of a straight line, you need the slope and the y-intercept. Those are the two things you need, the slope and the y-intercept. The equation already gave us the slope. Now we know the y-intercept. So we can take these two elements and put it in the equation of a straight line y equals to mx plus b, and that will be our solution for the line that passes through the point 4, 3 and has a slope of 2. So we have y equals to mx plus b. We're going to plug in our slope and our y-intercept. So we get y equals to 2x minus 5. This is our answer. This is the equation of a straight line that passes through the point 4, 3, and that has a slope of 2. I hope that is understood. All right, that's question 7. Now, let's do question 8. Now, question 8 says find the equation of a line that passes through the point 4, 5 and minus 2 and minus 3. Now, for this question 8, this is not very different from question 7 because they're asking you still to find the equation of a straight line. Question 7 was also asking us to find the equation of a straight line. But the difference between this question and question 7 is that this question gives us 1 point, but it doesn't give us the slope. The other equation gave us a point and the slope 2. But this equation gives us the point 4, 3, 4, 5, and negative 2 and 13. But remember, to write the equation of a straight line y equals to mx plus b, what we need is we need the slope and we also need the y-intercept. Those are the two things we need. We need the slope, we need the y-intercept. So let's try to find that. Let's first find the slope. Remember in our previous lessons, I showed you how to find the slope. For the slope m between 2 points, it will be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. This will be my x1, y1, x2, y2. So if I say y2 minus y1, I'll have minus 13 minus 5 divided by minus 2 minus 4. This will give me minus 13 minus 5 will give me minus 18. And minus 4 minus 2 minus 4 will give me minus 6. This minus will cancel with this. 18 divided by 6 will give me 3. So that means that the slope is 3. Now I know the slope. The next thing is I have to find the y-intercept. Remember what we did in question 7 to find the y-intercept. We wrote the equation with the slope 3x plus b. We wrote this equation and we included the slope. Then we used the point that was given to us in the previous question and we replace that point with y and x. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to use this point 4, 5, and we're going to replace the x and the y coordinate in the equation to find b, which is the y-intercept. You could decide to use the x2, y2. You always have the same answer. Don't worry. If you use any of the points, it gives the same answer. So if we use the point 4, 5, we know that x is 4, y is 5. We're going to have 5 is equals to 3 into 4, which is x, plus b. We'll have therefore 5 is equals to 12 plus b. 12 plus b, and 5 minus 12 is equals to b. Therefore, b will give you minus 7. So we have the two things we need. The slope, 3, and we have the y-intercept, minus 7. So we can now write the equation of the straight line that passes through those 2 points. Now, that equation, remember, is y equals to mx plus b. Now we can put in the slope y equals to slope 3x plus b, which is minus 7. This is our answer. Now, I will explain it once more because there's a little difference between question 8 and question 7. Remember that question 7 gave you a slope already. You didn't have to calculate the slope. But question 8 didn't give you a slope, so you had to calculate the slope. How do we calculate the slope? We use the formula of the slope, this formula here. M equals to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. We use that formula in order to calculate the slope. And once you use this formula, you will use the 2 points that is provided to you, 4, 5, and negative 2 and negative 13. You will plug that into the formula and you get a result of 3. Now, you have a slope. Now, this brings you back to question 7, which provided you a slope and a point. And this point is now the same like question 7. Now that you have a slope, you can put it in the equation for the straight line y equals to 3x plus b. So you can find the y-intercept b. Now, to find b, you have to select between the 2 points that was given to you. You select one of the points. Any one of them will give you the same result. I selected the point 4, 5. Once I select the point 4, 5, I will put x to be 4 because it's the x coordinate and y to be 5 because it's the y coordinate. Then when I will go into the equation y equals to 3x plus b, I will replace x with 4 and 5 with y. So I get 5 is equals to 3 times 4 plus b, which will give me a result of b to be negative 7. Now, at this point, I have the two things that I need to write the equation of a straight line. I have the slope, which is 3m. I have the y-intercept, which is b, which is negative 7. I can just replace that in the equation of a straight line, y equals to mx plus b. I replace m with 3 and b with negative 7. And that is how I get this answer. That is all for this question. Now, let's solve another question. Let's solve question 9. Question 9 looks a little bit like the first question that we solved. It's just that this time around, we are going to have to plot 2 lines, not just one. 2 lines. We will have to plot 2 lines. Now, for question 9, it gives us 2 lines, 2 equations of lines. We have the first equation is y equals to minus 3x plus 5. And the second equation is 8x minus 2y equals to 4. That's the second equation. The first equation is y equals to minus 3x plus 5. And the second is 8x minus 2y equals to 4. Now, remember, to plot any line, you need 2 points. You need the intercept. So for both equations, we're going to find the x-intercept here. We're going to find the y-intercept here. We are also going to find the x-intercept here. And we're going to find the y-intercept. So we're going to do what we did in the first question, but we're going to do it twice for the 2 equations. We're going to do it for the first equation and also do it for the second equation. We know that on the x-intercept, y equals to 0, right? Therefore, if we plug in the equation y equals to minus 3x plus 5, we'll have 0 is equals to minus 3x plus 5. Then we'll have minus 5 is equals to minus 3x. And minus 5 over minus 3 is equals to x by dividing both sides by negative 3. So we have here x will give us the same thing as 5 over 3 because the negative signs will cancel each other. Now, 5 over 3, if you put it on a calculator, it's around, let's say, x is equals to x is equals to that's 1, that's 3, 2, so it goes 18. It's like 1.6. It's around 1.6. 1.6. Now, that means that my x-intercept will be 1.6 and 0. Now, for the y-intercept, we're going to have x to be equals to 0. Now, y will be equals to 3x plus 5. If we put x now to be equals to 0, we'll have y to be equals to minus 3 into 0 plus 5. This will give us y to be equals to 5. So we'll have the intercept 0 and 5. Now, I would like to say something for the x-intercept that we just obtained. You may see that we had a value of 1.6 and 0. It is possible to manipulate the the second intercept or find another point other than just that intercept such that you don't have to work with decimals or fractions. Now, this is just a side note which can make work easier for a student. Let me take an example of what I'm talking about. Now, I've already gotten my two intercepts, so I'm just giving a side note now. I'll write my side note in purple. Remember that I've given you the equation y equals to minus 3x plus 5. I could decide that I choose a value of y to be equals to, let's say, something like negative 1. If I said for y equals to negative 1, I want to find another point on a straight line, but that is not the intercept. If I put y to be negative 1, I'll have negative 1 is equals to minus 3x plus 5 in such a way that I will have negative 1 minus 5 is equals to negative 3x. Now, the reason why I choose negative 1 is because I know that negative 1 plus negative 5 give me negative 6 is equals to negative 3x. And when I simplify this, negative 6 divided by negative 3 is going to give me x to be 2. Now, this means that when x equals to 2, y will give you minus 1. And this is another point on the line y equals to negative 3 and 5. Why was I trying to find another point? It's simply because to find the point 1.6 can be a little bit tricky for some students that want to be very accurate. But to find the point 2 and negative 1 is very easy. So you can use that. But notwithstanding, we are going to use this and this for the sake of the student that will use this video, Nicolette. Now, we're going to do the same thing for the x-intercept and the y-intercept of the second line, 8x minus 2y equals to 4. For the x-intercept, we know that y equals to 0. So we get 8x minus 2y equals to 4. We're going to replace y with 0. 8x minus 2 into 0 equals to 4. So 8x equals to 4. We divide both sides by 8. So x will give you 4 over 8. And x will equals to half, or 0.5. So we're going to have the x-intercept at half and 0. Now, for the y-intercept, we know x should give you 0. So in the equation 8x minus 2y equals to 4, we're going to replace x with 0. So we're going to have 8 into 0 minus 2y equals to 4. Now, 8 times 0 will give you 0, so you'll be left with 2y equals to 4. And if you divide both sides by negative 2, you're going to have y equals to 4 over negative 2. So y equals to negative 2. So the y-intercept will give you 0 and negative 2. 0 and negative 2. Now, we have all the points we need in order to draw two lines. Now, whenever they give you two lines like this, because the question asks us to solve the system of equation, they ask us to solve the system of equation. When they ask you to solve a system of equation using graph method, or you have to plot on the graph to solve, you have to do what I just did. You find the intercept. Find the intercept of each line. The first line, y equals to minus 3x plus 5, our two intercept was 1.6 and 0. And the second one was 0 and 5. For the second line, 8x minus 2y equals to 4, we had the intercept half and 0, and the intercept 0 and negative 2. So what we'll do is that we're going to plot the first line. Let's finish with the first line. I'll plot the first line in blue. or let's say in purple. And the second line, I'll plot it in another color so we can distinguish. So I'll plot the x-intercept, which is negative, sorry, not negative, 1.6 and 0. Now, 1.6 and 0, I know that 1.5, half of 1.5 is somewhere here. So 1.6 is slightly above that. So slightly above that should be around here on the x-axis. Slightly around there. All right. Now, for the y-intercept is 0 and 5. 0 and 5, we know where 5 is. This is just 5 here. Then we just have to draw a line that links the 2 points. I'll try to make the line as accurate as possible. Yes, now it is very important that your line is very accurate because the accuracy of your line is going to determine the result that you get. If it's not accurate, you will get a very poor result. So make it as accurate as possible. Okay, I'm done with the first line. I'm done with the first line. Now for the second line, I'll draw it in red so you can distinguish it clearly. So for my second line, my x-intercept is half and 0. Half and 0. Now half and 0, it's somewhere here. Half is somewhere here. And the second intercept is 0 and negative 2, which is somewhere here. So now I will draw a line to link the 2 points as perfectly as, no, sorry, I made a mistake. I have to go back. My mistake was because I plotted the first point half and 0 wrongly. Half is here. Half is here. It's not 1.5. Half is between 0 and 1. And the other point was 0 and negative 2. So it's here. Now, let me link those 2 points like this. Now, I'll adjust it. I'll adjust. It has to be as perfect as possible. As perfect as possible. As perfect as possible. All right. Oh la la, my screen is lagging. So that's what I get for the red line. That's what I get. I adjusted it to link the 2 points. Now, my first point was here. For those who do not see, this is my first point here. And this is my second point here. Now I link those 2 points with the red line. And that's what I get. Now, the question did not just ask you to plot 2 lines. It asks you to solve the system of equation. And solving a system of equation by graph means that the solution of the system will occur where the 2 lines meet. And we can see clearly that the 2 lines meet here. They meet here. They meet where y equals to 2 and where x equals to 1. You can see it if you draw a line like this and you link it like this. When y equals to 2 and x equals to 1 is where they meet. So the solution of the system of equation is x equals to 1 and y equals to 2. This is the solution. X equals to 1 and y equals to 2. That's the solution of this question. So let's go over what we just did. Let's go over what we just did. So what did we just do? We had a question that was asking us to solve a system of equation by graphing. I said that this is not different from graphing a single line. Remember the first question that we solved today, we graphed a single line. So the first thing is that you have to find the intercept of each line, the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So if you are graphing one line, you get two intercepts. If you are graphing two lines, you get four intercepts. And 2 points enable you to plot or to graph a line. We found the intercept of the line y equals to minus 3 plus 5, which were 1.6 and 0, and 0 and 5. We plotted or we graphed it, and it gave us the blue line. The blue line. You can see that the blue line has a slope that is from high to low. It's descending. And that explains why the slope is negative. If you look at the line y equals to 3x plus 5, you notice that the slope m is negative 3. That's why you see the line is like this. Every slope that is like this is negative. Every slope that is like this moves from low to high is positive. Now, in our second example, or a second line, we have 8x minus 2y equals to 4. In this case, we also find the x-intercept and y-intercept, and that gave us half 0 and 0 negative 2. We also plotted the 2 and we linked the 2 points to the straight line. Now we notice that the straight line touch each other. Now note that it's not in every equation that the two lines will touch each other. It's possible that the two lines never touch. In a case where they never touch, that means that the two lines have no solution, and therefore they have the same slope, or they are parallel. The lines are parallel. They can be parallel like this, like this, like this, like this. But whenever two lines are parallel, they're like this. They never touch each other. So they don't have a solution. But in the case of the equation we just solved, our two lines, they touch each other. And at the point they touch each other, it's the solution of the system of equation, the solution of the two lines. And we notice that here, they touch themselves where x is equals to 2 and where y equals to, where x equals to 1 and where y equals to 2. That is the solution of these two equations when solved together. I hope it's understood. So we're going to get into the next video to continue with the lesson. And we're going to discuss a little bit more about lines and solving a system of equations. See you the next time.